You are listening to SPN, the Sports Podcasting Network.
من هناك لشوارزنيجر جول.
Va a pegarle Ronaldinho Gaucho. Ya lo hace. Pierna derecha, directo al arco. ¡Golazo! 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 ¡Golazo!
This is Soccer Today, live on SPN Radio, your new live show about the beautiful game in all its glory, with Duane, Rollins and Kevin Laramee. MLS, EPL, La Liga, Champions League, all is fair game. Powered by the Sports Podcasting Network. Visit us at sportspodcastingnetwork.com.
And good day, good night, and welcome to Soccer Today for Tuesday, June 13th. Duane is on the phone on the way to the men's national team. Duane, you're on the way to my place, basically.
Yeah, I am. We're very close to Montreal right now. And by very close, I mean about 3 kilometers further than my house. But I am on the way. I will be in Montreal tonight.
You left, at least. You left Toronto. You'll be in town in time for the friendly to prepare the roster for the Gold Cup. Interesting roster, a lot of interesting storyline, Duane, and I want to start with this here. Yesterday in the press conference, there was quite a funny moment where Patrice Bernier was talking about how it is to share his room with Alphonso Davies, and he kind of feels like he's seeing himself when he started 20 years ago. But that's an interesting, the old Captain Bernier, no offense here, but saying the experienced Captain Patrice Bernier, who's going to be wearing the armband tonight, introducing Alphonso Davies to the life of a Canadian men's national team player. That's kind of interesting.
He literally could be his father.
Yeah, right. He could be. Like, if he had him at 18, that would be the case right now. That would be like close to an age where they would be right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he would have been 21 when he was born. So, yes, absolutely. It's got to be. Dad, can I stay up for another half hour? No, you got to get your sleep, Alfonso. That'd be quite the scene to play out there. No,
stop playing FIFA, Alfonso. Stop playing FIFA, Alfonso. Get to breakfast. You'll be late.
Very much the case. No, look, I'm very much looking forward to this, and that's got to be the main reason that the most of us are looking forward to a game that otherwise we would have just sort of fluffed past. I mean, I'm going to meet some people that I haven't seen in a while and things like that. So all that sort of personal side of things is fun tonight. But I'm most looking forward to cheering wildly as the highlight of the cycle comes out and Alphonso Davies gets his first national team cap. That will be the highlight of the night for sure.
And tonight we will give our full post-game coverage, which means Kevin brings his microphone. And yes, I just referred to myself as a third person, but I will bring my recorder and everything tonight at the game. I'll be on the press box. We're going to give this game, this friendly, this exhibition in Montreal, which is 7 years in the making. We're going to give it its fair coverage tonight. So stay tuned to Sports Podcasting Network. You'll have some post-game interviews with Zambrano, with coaches, with players after the game tonight. It's about time. I haven't been to a national team game, Duane, in about 13 months, and I can't wait tonight. New coach, Zambrano. There seems to be like a new energy in the program. I don't know if it's just a new coach, but a lot of players are excited. Samuel Piet, the way he talks about the game tonight, he hasn't played in front of his fans and families forever, and this is a big moment for him tonight.
No, for sure. And it's the first game in Montreal since, I want to say 6 years, 5 years. I'm trying to remember exactly.
7.
Yeah, it was a game against, well, they played the qualifier, the infamous qualifier that we don't want to talk about against Honduras, but there was another friendly that happened against Honduras as well. But it's been a while. So for the Quebec guys, it's got to be a big privilege to get back into the scene tonight. Look, I mean, it's always fun to go on a national team road trip, as I said, as I'm sitting here in the car. There's a Voyageurs celebrity sitting in front of me right now, the supreme leader of the Voyageurs, Jamie McLeod.
I was going to say, hi, Jamie. I was going to say, hi, Jamie.
Dear leader. The dear leader of the Voyageurs who wants me to qualify that as.
By the way, I have to say to Jamie, I still have a few of my lima beans that I feel resembles him. So, dear leader, you're okay. I still have my lima beans.
Okay, I'll let them know that. Exactly. We got lots of Voyageurs swag. If anyone's showing up to 99 tonight before the game, we can tell you that stuff. I'm sure we'll be happy to do that. So it should be a good night. We're looking forward to it, Kevin.
Duane, you haven't been to the 9 in forever. It actually looks decent now. So there's a lot of things that changed since the last time there was a men's national team game in Montreal. It used to be a dive hole. Now it's just a hole.
They gave me food poisoning once. Like, this is not even a joke. Like,
Well, you're not the only one.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, the last time I was at 99 was before the Holland Canada game in the Women's World Cup. So does it look better than then?
A little bit, yeah. The Ultras, which are the Montreal Impact supporters, what a group of the supporters actually painted and did a lot of murals. So there's actually some great decoration at 99, which was, well, desperately needed.
Is there a mural of Benoit Giroux scoring the goal against the Impact to win the Eastern Conference Championship last year? Is that there?
No. And you better not mention that tonight. Like, it's kind of neutral territory. You don't want to push your luck too much.
No, you don't wear the club colors for a national team game. We all understand that. I'm not even wearing colors, so that's fine. I didn't wear my Canada strip today, so that's the first time in a long time too. But yeah, it's all good, Kevin.
So let's talk about the game itself, Duane. Tonight, it's a team that's still higher ranked than Canada. Like, technically, they're better than Canada, but how important is this game with the amount of new crops of players, the Larens, the Davies, the young players? What do you expect tonight? Should Canada deserve the result under its first coach under Zambrano, like first game under Coach Zambrano? So there's a lot of narratives tonight. Is it necessary? Is it almost obligatory for Canada to not just get a result, but to look good too?
I hesitate to call it a must win, but it's a very much should win. Zambrano's first game in charge. I think that they need to go out and sort of prove a point and to show that they are better than, a random small Caribbean island that they're playing. Although there's some quality there. I mean, they're kind of the Dutch D team, I think, but nonetheless, look, you don't want to oversell or overplay a friendly and the necessity of getting a result. But if Canada can't beat Curacao, come on, man. Like, they've got to be better than that. The ranking isn't really representative of what they are. We all know that. We all know why. But this is going to be the reality of the next cycle with this CONCACAF League of Nations thing. They're going to be playing more games like this. And I think they need to go out and demonstrate that they have the quality to rise up the rankings and to be in that top 8. So they're in that top league of the CONCACAF League of Nations. They're probably not going to start there. They're going to start probably in the second tier. So you want to be able to win these games so that you can get up there, so that you can be regularly hosting games against Mexico, games against the United States, games against, God help us, Honduras, so that they can get the better quality opposition so that they can improve and they can prepare for the next cycle, which is only a couple years away, really. I mean, we'll be playing World Cup qualifiers within 2 years, so we've got to start to look towards that.
Speaking of looking forward to, if you don't have your ticket for tonight, there's still time to get some. There's still some deals and discount codes available as well. That sales hasn't been as well received as expected. And if you are in Little Italy today only, go to Evangelista Sport on Saint Laurent. And guess what? With every purchase, you're going to get yourself some tickets for tonight's game. So if you need some new cleats and you want to see Canada, you can kill two birds with one stone. Get your new cleats, get your tickets, and tonight you will be at Stade Saputo for the Canadian men's national team friendly versus Curacao. Duane, the Gold Cup is coming this summer, next few weeks from away. Should we be expecting anything different this year in the Gold Cup? It was difficult in 2015. We actually had a game in Canada, which was a rare occurrence. What do you expect for the Gold Cup? Like, does this team either have a ceiling or the opposite of a ceiling? Is there a floor? Like, do they have to get out of the groups?
Oh, the tough group. We had a game in Canada in the last Gold Cup. Unfortunately, we didn't have a goal in Canada in the last Gold Cup. But we'll leave that well enough alone.
Not even close. Not even a look on that. I just remember 2 hours of Benito Floro doing a post-game press conference at the end, and poor David Edgar, who just looked so exhausted next to him.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Benito. He's a nice gentleman. I couldn't understand a word he was saying half the time, and he liked to talk. But nonetheless, look, what's the ceiling in the Gold Cup? you want me to be realistic here? I think the ceiling is to get out of that group and to get a quarterfinal matchup, and that'd be great. But realistically, the floor, I don't even want to talk about the floor. I just hope we score goals. I think that really what it comes down to, this is kind of the B Gold Cup. There will be, and we've seen the U.S.'s 40 team lineup. We're going to see a similar thing from Mexico, who are playing in the Confederations Cup starting next Sunday. So it will be a lot of B lineups. So realistically, you want to make sure that you go there and compete. And I think that for Canada's case, don't worry about the U.S., don't worry about Mexico. I just make sure that you don't embarrass yourself against those other countries that you're going to have to catch up that are a little more realistic to grab first. I want to be competitive against your Hondurases, against your Panamas, against your Costa Ricas. That's who you want to be competitive with. And I think that this team, if they're young and they're energetic, then why the hell not? Because this is kind of that weird Gold Cup that's hard to handicap because you're just not too sure what the big countries are going to bring.
No, that's a very big answer you're saying there, because we imagine a Gold Cup, we're like, oh, we won it before, but this time around, it's like the first quote unquote cycle, or the first call ups, the first camp with the new coach and what seems to be a new attitude, new discipline, new mentalities. There were cuts this weekend. There was 40 players in, or even more than 40, and some got cut. Teshuak Kindele got cut. Wandre Lefebvre got cut. Players that are having trouble playing in Major League Soccer this year, but you know what? Their form was questioning enough that Zambrano felt confident cutting them. And we haven't seen this in a while. This, you know what? Just wearing the shirt's not good enough. You have to make the team, and that decision-making process by Zambrano, I think it's something important. I was surprised by the cuts. I was surprised by the names because Teshuak Kindele is a big name, but he got cut. What does that tell you about Zambrano, that he's willing to do cuts after training camps?
Well, there was always going to be some cuts from the 40-man to the roster for the game day, but yeah, some of those names are surprising. Kindele being the most particular one out of that. I think it's also surprising that he left guys like Jay Chapman at home altogether, not even in the 40. Kyle Becker, and NASL Player of the Week.
Hey, what a goal!
Scored against for the Delta. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I think it was a nice goal, but the feed was kind of grainy, and I couldn't really see the ball because the ball was just one white pixel. But that's NASL TV for you. But it was quite a great goal by Kyle Becker with Deltas in the weekend.
Yeah, no, and look, that's a good thing that you're able to beat guys like that home. And I mean, that's one too. I'm not going to pretend there's 65 guys that are not in the 40 that should have got a look. But nonetheless, the fact that we can even take any is kind of something that's a little bit new. So there is some young talent coming through out there right now. And I think that, to go back to your question about the Gold Cup, I think that's what's really the most important thing, is to see some of these younger guys that are going to be the key players for the 2022 cycle, to give them a chance, to get them a run out, to get them competitive, and get them into a sort of a new attitude. And that's sort of what Zambrano's doing. He cuts guys like Akindele from the roster, which is putting a stamp on it and saying, well, this is what I want. I think it also might suggest something about what kind of tactics he wants to play. He's made noises about wanting to be, pretty, which is, I've never heard Canada soccer and pretty in the same sentence before, but that he wants to do that. So Akindele is kind of more of a grunt grinder banger. So maybe that's an indication of that.
That's true. That is a good point, Duane. And I'm thinking too, with this team, with Zambrano, the way he's making his stamp, and he's been talking a lot about Bernier over the last 2 weeks, Zambrano, and with the press conferences where Bernier will be really involved in the marketing process of this game. But the decision to put Bernier with Davies for this camp, and it's a week and a half, 2 weeks camp, and the game and the friendly, I think it's interesting because we've heard Zambrano say, I kind of wish Bernier doesn't retire. I kind of wish he stays. And he puts him with Davies. I don't think this is a coincidence. I think they're looking in a way that to put Patrice Bernier as mentor, literally mentor of Alphonso Davies.
No, look, I don't want Patrice Bernier to retire either. He's playing remarkably well, and I've been saying for months now that I wanted him on the Gold Cup roster, and I think it's pretty clear he's going to be on the Gold Cup roster. And if he can play a mentor for Alphonso Davies, then great. Maybe that you want to have that continue, and I would love to see him through. I mean, Bernier is 37, right? But he's kind of ageless in many ways. As I said, World Cup call, I don't think he's going to be around in 2 years, but you never know. Why the hell not? If he can still play, then he should still play. if he can find a way that he can do that and continue to advance himself on the coaching side of the game, then great. I think this is a remarkable thing.
All right, Duane, let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about the women's national team, their home and away series that's finished 9-1 on aggregate, Duane.
You are listening to Soccer Today, live on SPN Radio. Visit sportspodcastingnetwork.com for more.
I'm Kevin Laramee, joined by Duane Rollins. Once again, Duane Rollins is traveling towards Montreal for the Canadian national team game tonight versus Curacao. But this weekend, we had Costa Rica playing Canada in the women's side. A friendly home and away to celebrate the bronze medal. Duane, what did you take away out of those two games outside of goals?
Before I go into that, I'm going to say this. During the break, we had a conversation in the car here, and we decided that Patrice Bernier is Canada's Roger Milla. So if you know that reference back in 1990, then we'll
He can dance. He can dance, so we might be good.
He can dance if you want to. You can sing some stuff. That was a Montreal band. I was singing that. So nonetheless, what did I think about the game, the women's game? I thought that the first game in Winnipeg, that the finishing left a little bit to be desired. So that was unfortunate. They could have scored 6 or 7 goals in that game too, but they just couldn't find the back of the net. But then when you get back to Toronto and you scored so many goals so quickly, a record, a Canadian national team record in terms of the 3 fastest goals ever. Good times had by all. Only unfortunate part about it is that Christine Sinclair didn't get more because we really want her to catch Abby. I know she said she doesn't want to catch Abby, but we all want her to catch Abby.
Yeah, Christine, it's not about you. It's about us. We want you to catch it. That's what's important.
I had this vision, thinking about Christine Sinclair, that she scores the goal that wins the 2019 World Cup against the Americans. It has to be against the Americans in extra time on the very final kick of the game. And that is also the goal that surpasses Abby Wambach. That is my dream right now that I'm going to hold on to, and I'm going to stick with that. So good. And I also... the line, the headline is the last goal she ever scored won the Canucks the cup. That's the goal. That's a tragic reference here for you.
And beat the record of Abby Wambach. Maybe that's going to happen.
If she has a mic, she'll drop it. That's the one. No, how do you break down a game when it's 9-1 on aggregate? I mean, honestly, look, Costa Rica, I thought were game in the first match. They were there. They pushed back a little bit. They had a nice little spell in the second half. I think Costa Rica has shown a lot of improvement over the past 4 or 5 years. I remember a game, 5, 6, 7 years ago where Canada would have dropped 6-7 on them routinely, whereas now at least there's some pushback, at least in that first game. That's good for the overall women's game, but nonetheless, when it comes to Canada, it really was an exercise in running some of those young kids out, and the kids performed. They got some goals, hat trick and 2 goals in the second game by kids that had a combined age of, what are they combined the same age as Sinclair?
No, I think
maybe
combined.
A year older?
I think they're a year. Actually, when you think about it, that's 17, 16, maybe like 33. No, Christine Sinclair's older by herself than both of them together.
Well, when you combine the 2 of them, they're the same age anyway. So that's a good thing. And it was nice to see them get those goals. It was kind of nice to be serious for a second, to see Sinclair sort of mentoring those girls and playing more of that false 9-10 role now that she's playing. It is, I think, going to be a challenge for her to get the goals to pass Abby, to be serious about that, because I think she's more inclined to step back now and be more of a playmaker. But there's no discounting the amount of impact that she's had within the national team system, and the fact that she continues to grind on while she watches all of her friends and her colleagues and people that she's led with for years retire. She continues on, and I think that's a testament to her quality. And we saw her the other day. She's kind of a shy woman. If you've ever met her, if you've been fortunate enough to, that she stepped out of her shell a little bit in recent years. The fact that she's we're going to talk about MS because her father passed away from that, and be an advocate for that. I think that's a great thing, and it's going to continue to sort of be a testament to the type of leadership skills that she's developing later in her career.
When we look at the schedule for the women's national team in the upcoming weeks, well, there's nothing. It's quite the lull of the cycle right now, Duane. There will be some camps and some practice sessions and some friendlies in the near future, but it's a few months away. Now for the European contingents, it's summer break time, and for the NWSL contingent, it's back to the summer grind down in the state. But what are your thoughts on what's next for the women's national team program in the next few months?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they just disappear for such long periods of time. And you know, on the men's side, they've developed this League of Nations thing. And unfortunately, the depth of the quality in the women's game isn't strong enough yet to do something similar. But I do think there's room for them to do more. I would love to see something like the She Believes Cup or whatever they're going to call it now, something like that happening up here. I think that the CSA would be doing good work if it were to create a 14 tournament that it had every June or something, where they brought three other nations up here and had a bit of a round robin, bought maybe a couple mid-level teams up and maybe one bigger team out, like Canada, Sweden, Holland, and Spain or something like that. So you have a competitive tournament. It would be really beneficial for the program, because when they do play here, although, if we compare the crowds to MLS crowds or the men's crowds, we might kind of look down our nose at them. But 20,000 people to watch a women's international is nothing to laugh at. That's a significant crowd, and there's significant sort of money to be made there and opportunity to be had there. So I believe that they should be doing more. But unfortunately, it'll probably be the fall until we see them again. And, we'll wish them well in their NWSL season. But it's a big lull in the women's game. And until, especially since there's not a club team in this country other than that, a few semi-pro teams out there and the League One Ontario team, it's a bit unfortunate. There's not a lot of places to scratch your women's football itch out there.
So again, we remind you, if you don't have your tickets for tonight's game in Montreal, Stade Saputo, 7:30, Canada, Curacao, a friendly, come cheer on your country tonight at Stade Saputo. You can follow Duane on Twitter at 24th Minute and myself at Kev Laramee. And as always, you can find the on-demand version of this show, like every show we do here, on the network at sportspodcastingnetwork.com. And until tomorrow, as always, I'm Kevin Laramee, and have a great soccer.